Well, good evening everyone and welcome to the Next Gen Racing pre-season round at Sebring, and this is pre-season for the multi-class league. Prototypes and GT3s are on the menu for us this season, and what a season we are in for indeed. Live at Sebring for this final pre-season round of the season. Now, what's been going on this season is drivers have been setting qualification type times in sessions hosted this week. and basically that will put them into their classes, and we'll go into more information about that, but let's set the precedent for the season that lies ahead of us. So as we mentioned, this is the Next Gen Multi-Class League, and this will be the first league for the prototypes in GT3 branch of Next Gen Racing, if you like, that's going to have realistic weather, and the big scary icon there, well, the little scary icon there is the rain, which means, yes, this season we are going to see varying weather conditions. It's probably one of the most seismic updates that's happened, quite literally almost, on iRacing for many years, probably since the introduction of data night racing, perhaps. But yeah, rain on iRacing, it's caused quite a stir in the good sense, I suppose. I've driven in it at this track, believe it or not, at Sebring, and it's brilliant, so can't wait to see these cars on track in the varying weather conditions. And it does mean that during these races it can go from dry / sunny to wet to dry again, or even another alternate order of that. So it's going to be very exciting indeed. That's the anticipation that's held for these guys as we approach this season. So this league is hosted on Thursdays, I believe it was last season, and it's going to start on the 23rd of May. That is a week today, and can't wait for the season to start. At the moment we're in pre-season, as I mentioned, but we're into the thick of it, of a 10-round season, and we'll go through the rounds very shortly, very soon. My name's Alex Everett, by the way. I am your commentator for the season in every round as well. I come from an organisation called Crest Autosport, and I have commentated on Next Gen Racing races in the past. So very much enjoy this organisation, very much enjoy the races. I've broadcasted Race Room, as well as MX-5s on iRacing, and the Legend series on iRacing here. So fond memories of broadcasting, and it's good to be back. But enough about me. We have got LMDH cars, the prototypes, the top tier of what appears in the IMSA series in America and the World Endurance Championship. And we've also got the GT3 category, probably one of the most popular of tin top racing categories in the world, both in the sim racing area and also in real life as well. Of course, hosted in WEC and IMSA as well. Lots of cars to choose from. I will get a list on screen of cars probably from the next round. I haven't quite got them to hand, but we'll talk through some of the cars as we look at the cars on track very shortly. The format for this season, we have 1 hour practices that go before every session, just to give drivers a little bit of an opportunity to get themselves warmed up for these races. And it will follow with qualifying at 8 o'clock. I know that's a little bit later currently today, but it will be at 8 o'clock for the future races. But there's going to be varying formats. There's going to be endurance races, singular endurance races for some rounds this season, 3 rounds to be precise, and we'll go through those ones exactly very shortly. But the other races, the other 7 rounds, will have a sprint race preceding a feature race. The sprint race being 20 minutes in length and the feature race being 60 minutes in length. The drivers have fixed setups, and what does that mean? Well, it means every driver across the variable cars, each driver in their cars will have the same setups as their competitors. So that means there's no, I'll say, customization or anything like that of ride heights or tyre pressures or damper settings or anything like that. They're all stuck with the same setup on the car as one another. A little bit like kind of like your Formula 2s and your A1 Grand Prix and that sort of thing, except they can amend setups, but they're very evenly matched cars. But because it's quite significant here, because it means that a lot of these tracks, there's going to be certain cars suiting certain tracks over other cars, and it's going to vary across all the cars throughout the season. So that's going to be the exciting thing to keep an eye on, is which cars are OP, if you like, compared to other cars. And a little bit of a shout out to the sponsors of Next Gen Racing. A huge thank you to these guys for providing what they provide for our leagues here at Next Gen Racing. We've got Benji Sim Photos, Mark Sykes Designs, Higgins Automotive, PowerMax Racing, Motorsport UK Esports, Sam Cases, Joyce Design, Douglas Motorsport, and IMB Racewear. So without further ado, let's take a look at the calendar for this season. When it would like to, there we go, we'll get the right one to appear. There we go, the track list. So it's quite an exciting one, actually, this track list. You look at that track list and you think, my word, these guys know what they're doing. We start off next week at Mugello Circuit. It's a circuit that people were screaming for on iRacing, and when it hosted Formula 1 in the COVID season 2020, it did deliver. It's a brilliant, beautiful, beautiful track, is Mugello Circuit. I can't wait to broadcast there. I haven't driven it myself on this sim yet, but broadcasting is going to be brilliant. So that's round 1 of the season as at Mugello Circuit, and that will be a sprint race and feature race format, as will Motorland Aragon, round 2 of the season. More popular with MotoGP, it's got to be said, is the Spanish track just northwest of the Tarragona region in Spain. But round 2 of the season at the Aragon Circuit, I'm not exactly sure what the what layouts we're using of Aragon, because it has quite a lot of layouts. But yeah, that's going to be a very interesting round. Lots of varying styles of corners from slow to fast. It's quite hilly in places. There's sharp curbs and lots of areas for runoff for drivers to explore track limits. But yeah, that'll be a sprint race and feature race format. 6th of June, round 3 of the season, will be at Silverstone GP. We come home to Britain for that round, and it'll be the first of 3 2-hour endurances of the season. And Silverstone's quite a good place for it. It's quite a big track, quite a wide track, and it's very well suited to endurance racing. Of course, there's the Britcar 24 it hosts every single year. Round 4 of the season, we go back to the sprint race and feature race format. 13th of June, we're at the Indianapolis road course. Of course, all the IndyCar folks would have cleared off by then. I'm a fan of IndyCar, just saying, so don't come after me if you didn't like that. But yeah, they would have cleared off, and we're taking up the road course for round 4 of the season. And that's going to be a bit of a dark horse, is Indianapolis. It's a brilliant, brilliant track for racing, particularly with its later layout where it takes out the banking, and there's a little kink just at the end of sector 1 on there. It's really, really good for racing, is Indianapolis, so looking forward to that one. Road Atlanta, of course it's a classic for sports car racing. Round 5 of the season at Road Atlanta. Yeah, that's going to be a great round. We have Sebring, where we are right now, but we're going to be back there on the 4th of July. Very appropriate day for it, and it'll be a 2-hour endurance as well. Has to be. The 12-hour endurance of Sebring hosts year on year. It's a brilliant, brilliant spectacle, is the Sebring 12 hours. So looking forward to our 6th round of the season there. Round 7 of the championship, and we're visiting the Algarve International Circuit, otherwise known as Portimao. It hosted Formula 1 for 2 consecutive seasons, and it definitely did deliver. It's quite a lovely, lovely track. It's one of my favourite tracks, it's got to be said, of all time. I used to love driving it on Race Room all the time. It's quite a hilly track. It's got long sweeping corners. It's very fast track, particularly the front straight being very, very quick. And as you plummet down into the first braking zone of the circuit, you're going over 200 miles per hour and going down a steep hill into your first braking zone. It's a great, great track. Looking forward to that, and it's the latest addition when it comes to tracks on iRacing. Spa-Francorchamps hosts the 8th round of the season. Spa is just the best. It's the GOAT. Let's be honest, it's a brilliant, brilliant track. Very well suited for open wheelers, but very, very well suited to sports car racing. That should be a good one. Imola hosts round 9 of the season. Formula 1 are there this weekend, but we'll be there for round 9 of the season on the 25th of July. And the 1st of August, the final round of the season, it's Le Mans. That is the staple of sports car racing, where it hosts the 24 hours every single year, but it will host a 2-hour endurance for the final round of this season. And as we tail off the calendar there, we now get into qualifying for this pre-season round. Now we've got a 25-minute qualifying session ahead of us now, and we'll check out the drivers out on the track at the moment. We can see them heading out right now, and you've got a couple of GTPs, as they're referred to, at the front of the field. And we're looking at Gaz Williams, and we're looking at Gaz Williams because he is the boss of this series, one of two bosses of this series. So it's just a shout out to say thank you to Gaz for putting on these races season in, season out. Does a brilliant job, a fantastic, gigantic grid. It's got to be said as we approach into this season. Certainly not representative of the field that we've got here today. Can't do a quick count of how many are in the server right now, but signed up currently for this season is 56 racers. That's going to be brilliant, particularly on the smaller tracks like Mugello round 1. It's a fairly small and narrow track, so that's going to be very interesting. But yeah, endurance racing and sports car racing is about the long game. Even in the sprint races, you've got to think at the end of the race, you've got to think of points as well in quick-fire championships like this. Only 10 rounds, and technically, if you do the maths very quickly, it's 14 shorter races, and then you add on the endurances. There's technically only 17 races in this season. It's not like a sprint race touring car league or anything like that. There's not many races to get your points on the board. So we're taking a look at Gaz Williams. We're going to do a lap of Sebring to introduce our pre-season round today. Let's go on board here. Around the final corner we go, and this is a tour of the Sebring circuit from Gaz Williams, our host of the series. So we head up the main straight, and we're heading towards... What's the name of the corner? Well, it's turn 1. As simple as that. Into turn 1, down to 5th gear goes Gaz Williams. Round he goes. A little bit of curb on the exit. Nice use of all the track there. Braking into turn number 3. Hard left. Then a short kink to the right and into Gurney Bends here. Flat out to the right here. Up the gears as we head towards hairpin turn. Into 6th gear we go in the Porsche GTP car. Braking at the cones on the left. Down to 1st gear, turning in a little bit early, but I think that's to help get the tyres warmed up a little bit faster. But he had a very good exit from the corner, it's got to be said. He looked in total control and no corrections on the wheel at all so far in this lap. Touch wood. Into Cunningham corner we go, 2nd gear, and you've got to slowly accelerate on the exit there. A little bit of a correction there, but it seemed to be okay as he used all the track. Into Tower turn we go, one of the trickiest corners on the track because it dips in the middle of the corner. Heading up towards Bishop Bend now, flat out through this double apex corner here, and we'll brake heavy into the Gandebian Bend. 3rd gear, gentle on the throttle, and you can exceed the track there as we head around Le Mans curve. Oh, there's a little bit too much power carried in the middle of the corner there. Had to ease off just a little bit on the exit, and he has actually aborted his lap. He's going to let by another driver, I believe. I think he's aborted that. He may have invalidated his lap. In fact, he might have got what's referred to as a 1X. If you're new to iRacing, the 1X basically means you went off of track limits, and we're going to delete your time. So there we go. We are getting times on the board. So it wasn't the most perfect lap in the world. It was looking really good until Le Mans curve, to be fair to Gaz Williams there. But you can see there, 5.8 seconds off the pace is because he backed off to let Delayden by. Let's see who else is out on the track at the moment. A big nod to Mark Sykes as well. Not only one of the sponsors of this championship, but an NXTGEN driver himself, and he also co-hosts this series with Gaz Williams. He comes around the final corner there. And a little bit of a nod to the GT3 class as well. There's a lot of manufacturers in the GT3 class. To name but a few, we've got the Porsche car driven by Edwin Simpson here. We've also got the Ferrari, which was driven by Mark Sykes there, as we saw. Mercedes AMG, I don't think, is there one on track at the moment? There isn't a Mercedes AMG on track at the moment, but Matthew Cheverton is going to be driving that. We have got BMW in both classes, actually. We've got it in the GTP and the GT3 class. The Lamborghini, there we go, that'll be why we're not on the right cameras there. Still getting used to it. Give me a bit of time. We got the Lamborghini, lovely looking and sounding car, now being placed into legacy status on iRacing, which basically means it's free for users, new users effectively, and it means it's not going to get any more development. It's quite a shame, really. The the Lamborghini is a very, very nice car and still popular, as you can tell from this series. The Audi is also featured in this, the Audi R8 Evo 2, I believe it is. I have to do a little bit, I'll get a good graphic together of the cars for the first round of the season. This is more, the purpose of this broadcast today is more to sort of check that everything's working tip-top. See if everything runs smoothly as well. As we see Alan McCain in the Audi, the only Audi in the field. Oh no, there is another Audi in the field. He just joined the server actually. But heading over to the GTP class, Gaz Williams did manage to put his time on the board, and he went a quarter of a second quicker than Deleden in second place there. But we've got the Porsche car in the field. There's also the BMW hybrid, as well as the Acura car, which is co-made by Honda, and there is one more, I can't remember, is the Cadillac, of course. Yeah, the Cadillac. Very popular is that Cadillac, very, very nice sounding car as well. So qualifying 7 minutes down pretty much. A couple of times on the board, and it will be interesting to see if many drivers actually do put times down for qualifying here. The thing is, this is pre-season, so drivers, there's very different mindsets with drivers when it comes to pre-season. A lot of drivers tend not to turn up to these sorts of pre-season races because they like to play their cards when the season starts. Either that, or they're just not available for pre-season. They're shopping in Asda or something like that tonight. Who knows? And Gaz Williams slowing here as we head into the final corner. Let's check out some more of the GT3 cars. Alan McCain has put himself on the board into first place in qualifying at the moment. A long way clear, it's got to be said. 3/4 of a second clear of Andy Chell in second place, who we were watching a moment ago in the Lamborghini. There's a lot of drivers in the pits, actually. Loads of drivers in the pits. As Jamie Dory puts in a time in the Acura. And I'm sure we'll see another time from Jamie later on. But yeah, Jamie hosts the other iRacing League, hosted by NXTGEN, being the Touring Car League, the NXTGEN Touring Car Championship, which alternates between iRacing and R-Factor 2, the BTCC game as it's referred to. As Jamie's having a little bit of a slow lap here, probably waiting for a teammate to come along, and they can use each other for drafting. It does make quite a big difference in these cars. These cars actually generate a big hole in the air, actually, these cars do. And it really does help with slipstreaming down the straight and generally getting quicker lap times. Porsche out on track here of Jake Pitts. Just left the pits, is going to take on qualifying here. And that's what I was saying just a moment ago. There's drivers who will do qualifying, but there's other drivers who will give it a miss and will try to start from the back of the grid, really to kind of see how far they can move forward during the race. Yeah, it's quite an interesting one, actually. But there's others that might actually be waiting towards the end of the session when the track is warmer. It's quite an interesting dynamic in drivers' choices, really, when it comes to qualifying. But it is pre-season as well. Not many taking it too seriously. Let's see what else is going on in the session at the moment. I believe Mark Sykes put in another time just a moment ago. Still 3/4 of a second down from Alan McCain at the moment. Alan McCain looking pretty good in that GT3 class. He's still out on track in that Audi. And although the Audi is not the most popular car in this field at the moment, I mean, in GT3 at the moment, the Ferrari and the Porsche are the more popular cars. But actually, this Audi is a really, really good car. Kind of a ground effect car. It's very low down to the ground, as you can see from our angle there, watching McCain go through the Debian bend. But it is actually a pretty good car, and it is fairly popular with some of the endurances, the official iRacing endurances. So we see Alan McCain heading towards the final corner here. There we go, we can see purple sectors in 3 and 6. And 7 is about to complete now. Does he go further in front? He does. More than a second clear. That's a fantastic statement of intent, let's be honest, from Alan McCain there. Ahead of his competitors in this GT3 class. Class off the field, it seems, from Alan McCain, who I'm teaming up with in the Nürburgring 24 hours on the weekend. So, yeah, that bodes well for me. Right, have we got any more GTPs in the field? LMDHs as they're otherwise known. We have got Sean Shoots on the track for the CSA team, Woza team. A bit of a South African contingent in this championship this season. There's 3 drivers in the server right now, residing from South Africa, so there's a good worldwide reach in this championship. So let's see if this is an outlap, or if that was an outlap or an invalid lap from Sean Shoot there. And he'll head through turn 1, and we'll see how he gets on a little bit later on. But of the GTPs at the moment, only 3 valid times at the moment, and they're within 0.65 of a second. These cars absolutely, these LMDHs absolutely fly through these corners. It looks half impossible. It just seems unrealistic that they go through these corners so quick, but they got so much ground effect and so much downforce on them that it's that's generally what they're designed to do, is these LMDH cars. With hybrid power, of course, so you've got to harvest energy, and that'll be why you're seeing drivers on the back straight taking it a little bit easier. So they're trying to harvest a little bit more energy by pushing the brake pedal and turning the car quite hard through the corners to generate more energy to build up the hybrid so it can be deployed as best as it can on their flying lap. A bit like what you see with the Formula 1. They get 1 lap of qualifying boost and they just go for it, essentially. But I have a feeling Sean Shoot has backed off here because of the GT3 that's just ahead of him here. And we have got William Guthrie, who's just finished his lap and has put himself on the board in 2nd place in the GTP class, the LMDH class. Just going to see if I can change the colour of the text here of the time board. I can't at the moment. I'll sort that out for next time. I got a feeling a moment ago it was black, but now it's turned white, so there's something to sort out for next time. But anyway, there we go. Back into 2nd place goes the Leyden, the Luxembourg driver. Only 0.161 down from Gaz Williams at the moment. So, just over a quarter of a second between the top 3 already in that LMDH category. Really, really fine margins. And in the GT3 class, we've seen Ian Manners get himself into 2nd place. 0.8 down still from Alan McCain. But that gap is coming down ever so slightly, more and more. Ian Manners in the very colourful Race Anywhere livery there. Very nice livery, that is. Quite like that. This seems to be quite a flyer this lap. Nice exit there and into Le Mans Curve. A very difficult corner to get right every single time you go through that corner. It's caught me out many times before on this sim. So we head down towards Sunset. This is Ian Manners' 2nd place at the moment. Nice and close to the wall on the inside there, and a good late apex there. Power down on the exit of Sunset. And across the line will go Ian Manners. I believe that was a time that did not move, actually. That last lap was a 2 minutes 1.7, so it was more than a second, 1 second 0.3 down from Alan McCain. So I thought it was a good lap, but my eyesight tells me otherwise. There are 11 drivers in the field at the moment with valid lap times. But there are around about 23 or 24 drivers in the server, so we'll see if these drivers take part in the race. Hopefully they do. It should be quite interesting to see how the various drivers get on. There's no... Well, I've got a sneaky spreadsheet on the side here where I can see categories are decided, but I haven't put them into our system yet. Purely because there's some drivers whose categories still haven't been decided yet, and there's some drivers doing their qualification, inverted commas, if you like, for their category tonight. I believe in the coming days they'll be announced and all drivers will have their categories. There'll be gold, silver and bronze categories, and I believe those categories will be across all three. So effectively, I'll have to do my reading up on this a little bit more for next week, but I believe that means there's going to be 6 categories in the championship. Now, if I'm wrong about that, do correct me. I haven't done a huge amount of reading on those tiny little details just yet, but it means there's going to be a lot of championships to cover. But the thing is, I agree with this about this league and other sim racing leagues, is when you have lots of categories, when you've got, for instance, 3 categories where you've got the top third of drivers in the top category, middle third in the middle category, and the less experienced third in the third category, it means everybody's got a shot at going for a championship in the series. No matter where you are in the field, you can fight for a championship, and you can find other drivers you can rival up against. It's far more motivating doing that for drivers than it is, say, drivers battling for 20th in the championship. So I like that about sim racing, and I like that generally about category racing. You're able to do that. It's not like in real life racing where you strive to be at the top in every single race. Sim racing is meant to be recreational, it's meant to be fun as well as competitive. So that's what we're going to see this season, is gold, silver and bronze categories like last season, and I believe in both categories. Qualifying is nearly complete. I would say drivers will have a maximum of 3 laps. A maximum of 3 laps, I would say, in the books. Well, perhaps the GT3s might be able to squeeze in 4 more. But yeah, let's see what else is going on. We've got another time set on the board. Igor Martinez of the eCraft Yellow Racing team put himself on the board in 6th position in the Cadillac. Beautiful car, and a beautiful sounding car. Listen to it as it goes by here. Yeah, lovely. Lovely sounding car. Alan McCain still tops the GT3 times. Jake Pitt has put himself into 3rd place in that category. But there are 7 drivers with valid lap times in the GT3 class and 6 in the LMDH class, the prototype class, as it's called. Mark Sykes in the chat. Hi, Alex. Hello, Mark. 4th place for Mark at the moment. He's in the pits, probably because he's saying hello to me in the chat. But yeah, not a bad qualifying session so far for Mr. Next Gen himself. A couple of drivers heading out on track, actually, heading out on the track. They have no lap times. Dwayne Hoffman here, the American in the Porsche. Lovely livery, purple livery on his car there. And he'll be ready to set his first time, potentially on the next lap. We've got Benjamin McCluskey as well. Benjamin McCluskey is referred to as Benji. He's the one behind Benji Sim Photos, actually. So at the end of each round, Next Gen Racing posts on social media the various pictures taken and edited by Benji here. And actually, he's a very good livery designer as well. You look at that livery, it's very striking. It's gorgeous livery. But yeah, he posts them on the Next Gen Facebook, Instagram, and other pages, as well as in the Discord for the drivers to use for their own promotional materials for their teams and their own sim racing endeavours. And they're very high quality, beautiful pictures. But McCluskey puts himself fourth straight away in the LMDH class and is only 0.129 behind the leader. And actually the top four there, really close margins between each of them, just under half a second between that top four there. If we go to gap here, you'll see the actual gaps between the between driver and leader. We'll go with that for the remainder of qualifying just to see how the leaders are getting on. But still 3/4 of a second lead in qualifying for Alan McCain at the moment. We've got Ben Altria, the other Audi driver, out on track at the moment in the number 504 car, weaving to get the tyres warmed up as he heads into sunset, ready to start his first flying lap. With 3 minutes to go, everyone will get at least one lap in the books here. Ian Manners and Jake Pitt are in the pits. But we still got Andy Chell here. Let's see if this lap will materialise into something. Let's take a look at the sector times here. It doesn't look like purple sectors. Andy Chell remains in that position. Got Edwin Simpson as well here. Now the S before Edwin Simpson's name is because he hasn't been properly logged into the system yet. Probably because he's not on the entry list. It might be that. But yeah, basically what the behind the scenes happens, a little bit of trivia for the general spectator here, is behind the scenes on the server when you're driving, you can see which drivers on the track with you are in gold, silver and bronze category. It's easier for benchmarking yourself with other drivers in the similar or other categories. And in this case, Edwin Simpson, last season anyway, would have been silver category. Will he be silver this season though? Not too sure. We'll have to see after tonight, as this, I believe, is the final qualification round for categories in the championship. Williams pipped to the top spot by William Guthrie, I believe, in the recent minutes. A 10th clear is Guthrie, so this looks like a pretty exciting category here. These will be the guys in the gold category, presumably for this LMDH category. But Guthrie and Gaz Williams hammering it, as Gaz Williams went very, very close to off track there, heading around turn 1. Getting a maximum out of that car through that corner. Use all the track and more, they say, when training you up to be a racer. Less than a minute to go in qualifying, and onto the board goes Ben Altria in the Audi. Pulls over, said, yep, that'll do for me. Half a second though off Alan McCain. This has been a very impressive session from Alan McCain. And still on track, still getting the laps in. Still getting the practice in, still trying to get the times in. Max DeLayden heading into the hairpin. Third at the moment, just shy of half a second behind Guthrie. As it's pre-season, this is where, you know, me being a driver, can really familiarise myself with these drivers. You know, you get a little bit irate, I suppose, about drivers who are quicker than you in pre-season. It gets you back up a little bit and you think, oh, I'm going to have to do a little bit more practice before the first round of the season. And that's what these drivers would be thinking at this point. But a lot of them might well be holding back. Who knows? Who knows? I might be chatting rubbish there. Some of these drivers might genuinely be thinking, yep, I'll hold myself back. and I'll surprise these guys when it comes to round 1 of the championship. Gaz Williams puts himself back to the top of the standings. There was check played by Guthrie, and as he pits, it's checkmate from Gaz Williams. Brilliant time there in the dying moments of qualifying. The checkered flag is out, waving these drivers through. Let's get the track map on. Who have we got crossing the line? Well, a lot of the drivers have crossed the line. We've got Andy Chell heading through Le Mans curve there. Looked fairly clean. Might have used a little bit more track there, potentially. Benjamin McCluskey back here as well. Oh, that'd definitely be an invalid lap. Well, it was a scruffy lap. Yep, he's backed off now. It was quite a scruffy take of the curb there. But Andy Chell is the final one to complete qualifying here. He'll be the final one to put a lap in. And Abortsin decides to go into the pit. So that'll be it for qualifying. We have got our grid ready for the race. And I can't quite remember if there's a warm-up or not. But we'll find out very, very shortly. But we'll be heading into the race. So, congratulations to, I know it's only pre-season, but congratulations to Alan McCain. Pole position in the GT3 class, and pole position in the LMDH class is Gaz Williams. We are just waiting for the session to tick over. We'll shortly head into the next session. We'll be able to reveal the grid for the race once the drivers start gridding up. But your top 3 in each class. Williams, Guthrie and Deladen in the LMDH class. And we are going straight into the race. So we will go over the grid. So, the LMDH cars will start at the front of the grid. There's 8 of them at the front here, but it's Gaz Williams with Guthrie in 2nd. Deladen in 3rd, followed by McCluskey alongside in 4th. Sean Shute in 5th position with 6th place going to Jamie Dory. Igor Martinez in 7th with Dwayne Hoffman in 8th. The GT3 class, we have Alan McCain in 9th place and pole position for that category. Ben Altria in 10th position with Ian Manners behind on the 2nd row of the GT3s, with Jake Pitt in 12th position, 4th place of the GT3s. Andy Chell in 13th with Edwin Simpson alongside on that 7th row, and on the 8th row is Mark Sykes with Elwyn Sykes alongside. And non-qualifying drivers were Stefan Wessels, Mark Baker, Hugo Silva, Gavin Gardner, Matthew Cheverton, Jochen Siegert and Nigel Stock. 23 drivers as we get ready for this pre-season round at Sebring. Gaz Williams at the front. Now normally what happens with these multi-class races is the first category will head off ahead, and the second category will hang back, and they'll leave about 10 seconds later, just so there's a big gap between both categories. One, so we can see the start of each category, but also so the GT3 cars, or the second category, as we mentioned, can hold themselves back and have a bit of warning in case something major happens at the front. So away we go for the formation lap. It's a very short formation lap because we are on the back straight here. There's not much time for these drivers to warm up their tyres. Into sunset we go, and we're going to be going very, very quickly here. Gaz Williams will lead them round sunset. Into the pits goes the pace car. Gaz Williams will go when he wants to. As soon as the pace car is in, and it's green, Gaz Williams is away. And the GT3 cars come around the final corner there, but Daldian is looking for a move already to the inside. We'll switch to the GT3s, and Altria seems to have got his nose ahead of Alan McCain as we head into turn 1. Round we go, and Altria takes the lead of the GT3 class. Oh, he goes wide a little bit. Alan McCain is on the inside trying to find his way back. Up the inside goes Alan McCain into the lead. Returning to the lead, and off the track at the the next corner there. Dwayne Hoffman goes wide, then he's rejoining the track right in front of the GT3 class. This might upset them a little bit, but they're safely getting around Dwayne Hoffman as they head down towards the hairpin. Back to the LMDH class. Guthrie is taking the lead from Gaz Williams. We might be able to see where that move happened. Here is a replay of it very quickly. We've gone back quite a long way, actually, so let's see if it happens fairly quickly. It might have happened going into turn 2, so this was heading into... yeah, this is heading out of the final corner, so the race starts and Gaz Williams gets away now. But actually it was Guthrie who got the jump, you can see here, and that's why, actually, the Leyden got a little bit of a look on the inside, and that's how Guthrie did it to get past Gaz Williams. Bit of a battle back here. Oh, and shoot, no, McCluskey has spun, heading through Le Mans curve. So let's see if we can take a quick replay of how that happened. Touch the grass, heading around the corner. Ah, the car just gives way on the curb there. That's very strange how that happened. It just gives way. Touching the curbs. The tyres are still very cold for a lot of these drivers here. GT3s heading into sunset, the end of their first lap. You've got McCain opening up a lead, more than 1 second ahead of Altria in the other Audi here. But you've got Jake Pitt not far behind in 3rd place there, and Ian Manners there is in 11th place but 4th in category as well. Close between De Leyden and Gaz Williams as we head back to the LMDH class. Guthrie's pulling away from Gaz Williams here, and to the inside goes De Leyden. Oh, he can't outbrake Gaz Williams as we head into... oh, yeah, no, he can't. Oh, my word. Sorry about that. That was Jamie Dory and De Leyden going head-to-head there. I was fooled by the software there. Fooled them to what drivers that was. Do excuse me. So, this is Jake Pitt hunting down Altria in the GT3 class. They've opened up a little bit more of a gap between them and Ian Manners. We've got Mark Sykes and Andy Chell trying to hunt down Edwin Simpson here as well. But this is our field. There are other drivers in the server but did not take to the track. Gaz Williams has lost the position to Max De Leyden there. And Jamie Dory putting Gaz Williams under some pressure there. So let's just get a quick replay of how that happened. It did say for me that Gaz Williams went off track. If we take a look here. Similar to McCluskey. Yeah, takes a lot of curb there and just goes straight off. So, you know, these cars being very low down to the ground, you take too much curb and it will just spear it off to the outside. Jamie Dory still hasn't found a way past Gaz Williams here, but it hasn't been the ideal race for Gaz Williams so far. But you could say finding the limits. Just taking a look at the Facebook chat here. Baz Meacham, an entrant for this championship. Better get some laps in tomorrow. You better. This is looking like a great field at the moment, Baz. You've got to be warmed up for next season at Mugello. Gaz Williams ahead of Jamie Dory here. The field's splitting up a little bit. There's about a second between each driver apart from this battle here. The closest one, it seems, on the track, Jamie Dory. What can he do here? Qualifying wasn't great for Jamie Dory, but in the race, as he usually does, I know Jamie Dory quite well, and I know in the races, that's where he really, really does come alive. The Acura here. Very fancy looking car as well. So, as we head down towards Sunset Curve, for the end of lap 3, it's Guthrie in the lead of the LMDH category. Max De Leyden in 2nd position, with Gaz Williams in 3rd place. Jamie Dory in 4th, as we were just watching. 2 places gained from the start for Jamie Dory. Sean Shute in 5th position. Hanging on to the back of Jamie Dory, and we have got a crash further back in the field is Andy Chell, exiting the pits. Oh, and the car just gives way on him there. He might have changed tyres, and the tyres was so cold that he just let go on the exit there. I presume this is a very cold track right now. It's a very grey sky above us, and I think that's just purely what happened to Andy Chell there. The tyres were just freezing cold and caught him by surprise. We are seeing drivers really struggling, actually. We've seen... we saw Delayden and Gaz Williams. Oh, sorry, no, it was McCluskey and Gaz Williams. Do excuse me, Max. But yeah, McCluskey and Gaz Williams really struggling on the back end of the circuit between Gundebian Bend and Le Mans Curve. Good start to this race for Guthrie so far. This puts him in good stead for the season ahead. Full tilt Motorsport Green. No tilt here. Doing very, very well. And back to the GT3 class. McCain, I'll be honest, I was expecting more gains at this part of the race from Alan McCain, but to be honest, if he's feeling comfortable, he can relax a little bit. That's my thinking. Either that, or genuinely, Altria, Pitt, and Manners back here, and Simpson for that matter, are actually doing okay. It's a half an hour race, this. We're probably not going to see any pit stops in this race. Just an out-and-out race for everyone to check their pace. A little bit of a hybrid length session between sprint race and feature race. And I do believe the feature races are mandatory pit stops in this season, but the sprint races are not. Jamie Dory has lost a position. Did say he went off track, but let's just take a little look here. Jamie Dory up ahead here. And he's in the same section. Oh, big hit at the curb. Late on the brakes. Trying to get it under control. And the car's just stepping out. And he loses his line and loses a lot of pace. And you just see... Shoot rocket up towards him, and actually I think Jamie Dory in the live pictures has gone into the pits. I think he's actually aborted it, actually. I'm not entirely sure. Let me see what's going on here with Jamie Dory. Oh yeah, the car's really difficult to handle, it seems. There's an off track somewhere. Oh, there it is. Late break, late break. Can't save it. It's gone into the tyres, and that'd be game over. Well, not necessarily game over, but Jamie Dory might have just have thought, that'll do for tonight. Back to pit live pictures then. McCain through... I can't remember the name of the corners yet. Fangio chicane there. Stellar performance. Opening up to near 3 seconds. But we've got Jake Pitt and Altria getting closer together. Jake Pitt putting in some good laps here in the number 15 car. Excuse me, easing up towards Ben Altria. Close as well between McCluskey and Gaz Williams. Gaz Williams has lost 4 places from the start, from pole position to 5th. Hasn't quite been his night so far. I just wonder if Gaz Williams picked up floor damage when he went across that curb earlier on in the race. 12 seconds down from Guthrie, the leader. We got McCluskey here as well, trying to hunt down that podium spot as well. Been a pretty good race so far from Sean Shute here. 3rd place up 2 places from the start. Quite a way down from Delayden, but is on the podium here in this pre-season race. I mean, it accounts for nothing in the championship, but it is still good for benchmarking as these pre-season races. Let's head back to the GT3s. Jake Pitt trying to chase down Altria here. We've also got Edwin Simpson trying to hunt down Ian Manners. And Altria not yet 3 seconds back from McCain, but he's got a driver ahead he's trying to close the gap to, trying to find some pace to catch. But he's also got a driver behind to worry about in Jake Pitt. And while we're... Oh, hang on a minute. I've just seen Gaz Williams has gone to the pits. Jump to the pits here. Gaz Williams, round sunset, does stamp on the brakes and brings it into pits. I just wonder if he's getting himself some repairs or new tyres. One or the other. Straight into the box there. Slowly into the box, it's got to be said. Very interesting. Considering pole position, the pace is there for Gaz Williams. He'll know that much. And he won't be too concerned. As lapping the GT3s here is Guthrie. There he goes. Past second and third. Now this is a point in the race where the GT3s start to break down a little bit, let's just be honest, because yeah, it's a classic thing in endurance racing on iRacing. The LMDH cars don't wait for a straight to overtake, and the GT3 cars, you know, they just drive on the racing line. They don't care about us LMDH cars. But we'll see what the etiquette is like of these drivers when it comes to letting drivers through. There are some rules around it, and we'll clarify them next week for you. But there are some rules that NXTGEN lay out for drivers getting lapped, or drivers that are doing the lapping. So we'll clarify them for you next week. But there are some very hard written rules on the passing of lapped cars, or being passed as a lapped car, that you must abide by, and it can lead to penalties should you not comply with those rules. It's a little easier to do it in league racing than it is necessarily to do it in official racing. Glusky is close to Shoot as Shoot arrives at the GT3 crowd, and as I said, this is where things shake up. Where a driver gets held up by a GT3 car, it can compromise them when it comes to passing maintaining positions and time over their competitors. And you see here, Shoot is struggling to get around Altria here, and now he's got right up his backside here is McCluskey, and a good opportunity here for McCluskey to get himself into third place. As we're approaching the halfway point in this race, so these drivers will pass these GT3 cars again at least once later on in this race. Late entrance to the corner here from McCluskey. Oh, it's wide. There goes McCain. He got a little bit put off there, but trying to get a good exit there was McCluskey. Let's see if he can make a move here. He's fairly close. He goes to the inside of Shoot towards Sunset. He's got the inside and he's through. Brilliant, brilliant execution of that move there from McCluskey. And if we just go back to the replay here, you can see he sets it up in the corner before at Le Mans here. He takes a late exit here and then turns in very late here to get a nice straight line exit, which really powers him towards Shoot for this straight. Excellent execution there from McCluskey, but now he must defend it. Passing's one thing, catching's one thing, passing is another, and then defending is another thing. There we go, Murray Walker. I've added to your quote there. So we still got Pitt chasing down Altria. We still also got Simpson and Manners battling together. I believe Manners, yes, has caught and passed. Oh no, sorry, Manners was ahead of Simpson just a few laps ago. Do excuse me. But Manners hanging on really well here. As up ahead, Altria and Jake Pitt battling out. But of course, McCain lost time going wide, being overtaken by McCluskey and Shoot. On the previous lap there, it's actually dropped his time to 1.5 seconds ahead of Altria. I don't think McCain will be too worried about that because he seemed comfortable, to be honest. But that's the sort of thing that can happen in these races. You get caught And it's going to happen in all the races this season because the LMDH cars are that much quicker than the GT3 cars that within 13 minutes we saw the LMDH cars catch up. We just look at the map there. You can see, see if we can get a colour of the classes on there. I don't think we can. We'll see if I can sort something out for next time. But you can already see the LMDH cars, the leader of Guthrie, is heading into turn 5 here. And that's just within 2 minutes that they're that far ahead. So think about the rest of the track. They're going to catch up before the race ends. So there's going to be another round for these GT3 cars to deal with these LMDH cars. And that's going to be the thing this season. In the sprint races, these GT3 cars are going to have to be dealing with the passing LMDH cars. And equally, the LMDH cars are going to have to deal with the GT3 cars. That's the key dynamic with sim racing and multi-class racing on iRacing. To an extent it is in real life as well, of course it is. But in iRacing, it is just the norm. Because that's how often people race these kind of categories on this sim. Weekly races for this championship, of course, and let's just have a quick chat about the calendar again. We'll take that one off and we'll put the other one on. There we go, that's a nice easy calendar to read. We're still watching the racing. A big flash of the lights there to say, yeah, the calendar's really good, guys. I'm fairly sure it's to let McCain know he was passing. But Mugello round 1, Aragon round 2, Silverstone round 3, Indianapolis round 4, Road Atlanta round 5. A week off between rounds 4 and 5, by the way, because I'm going on holiday. Well, that's very nice of the admins to do that for me. Round 6 is Sebring, and off goes McCain there. We're just going to disrupt ourselves a bit. McCain's gone off and stopped and escaped that. Why has he done that? Well, maybe he's had enough. A little bit of snap oversteer. A little bit of snap oversteer. No, I'll have to turn that off next time I come onto the sim. Don't swear, everyone. Don't swear. Don't swear. Don't swear. We'll sort that out for next time. But this is why we do pre-season checks, is so we can make sure things are running tip-top. It's been a while since I've done a broadcast on iRacing, actually. You know, I've been trying to do the software for the past week, and it's just been so... I'm so rusty on this stuff. It's incredible, really. But I'd say it's all running pretty good. A few things to iron out for myself between now and next week. But now, the new leader in the GT3 class in this race is Ben Altria. Just going to go back and check on that one with Alan McCain. I heard the snap of an oversteer there, heading into the corner here. Keep an eye on the wheel in the bottom left there as well. We'll see if there is snap oversteer. This is the corner. Does brake late. Very late. Oh, and there we go. And I think at that point McCain just decided, I'm heading home now. Which you would definitely not see in real life racing, where people have paid big money for certain races. But, you know what, it's pre-season here. It's pretty much a free race, and it's no accountability for this race when it comes to the championship, so why not? Why not? But Altria inherits the lead here, and Jake Pitt still right behind. This is pretty good between these two. They're fairly close together. And this could set up a key battle in the season ahead, potentially between these two drivers. Guthrie still leads in the LMDH class. 6 seconds clear of Daleiden in second position here, who is 3 seconds clear of Ben McCluskey. Brilliant livery on that car. Sean Shute not too far behind, but has dropped back a little bit from McCluskey after the battle we saw between them two. And Dwayne Hoffman here in 5th position. We did see an off from him on cold tyres at the start of this race, but still going. In the GT3 class, Altria leads. He heads around the final corner of lap 12. Very close to tyres there on the exit there, using all the track and more. Jake Pitt in second place and Ian Manners and Edwin Simpson still fairly close together. In fact, Simpson is probably the closest that I've seen for a while. Easing up towards turn 1, can't quite make a move here, and it's going to be quite difficult to get their good enough exit to make a move into turn 2 unless there's a mistake from Ian Manners in the Ferrari. Porsche versus Ferrari seems to be the common cars used in GT3 at the moment on iRacing. My favourite car is actually the BMW M3 of all these GT3 cars, believe it or not. We'll get ourselves a nice graphic next week of all the cars that are in the field, and we'll give you some good facts about them as well. We are just over the third point of the race. Final third of the race here, 13th lap. We're heading towards the 30-minute mark. And depending on when the leader crosses the line, we'll decide how much longer this race runs on for after 30 minutes. There's some series in real life where they'll do the full time plus 1 lap. It's not with iRacing, it's whenever you really see the checkered flag. You do get greeted with the white flag, which in American racing is a different meaning to British racing. In American racing, the white flag signifies the final lap of a race, whereas the white flag in Britain and Europe, I think, actually signals there's a slow-moving vehicle on the track. And I suppose the reason why American racing doesn't have that standard of white flag usage is probably because when there's a slow-moving car on the track, US racing tends to throw a full-course caution, yellow flag procedure. Jake Pitt has just gone off the track. We literally saw it off, but we didn't see it.
Yeah, that was a good fight, man.
Yeah, good fight, as Altria said. Touches the grass there, and round the rear goes. We didn't even see it on the camera there. We were looking at Altria, and Pitt just spun it. Very surprisingly, actually, and it does kind of mean that Altria is free to take the race away. But Pitt is now under pressure from Manners. He managed to get away as he's getting lapped again by Guthrie. We said it wouldn't be long, and it hasn't been. Through goes Guthrie, and he had to thread the eye of the needle there to get it past Jake Pitt. But Pitt is now just over a second ahead of Edwin Simpson and Andy Chell. Oh, as alongside goes Simpson, as a bad exit from Manners sets him up for an overtake here, and on the inside goes Simpson. Through he goes. He took that opportunity really well, did Edwin Simpson, and into third place goes Simpson as another of the LMDH's passes through. That was delayed, and he just passed through there and is chasing down Jake Pitt as well to the inside in Le Mans curve. Jake Pitt will take that. He'll take that. It was partially on a straight section, which means his corner wasn't compromised, as he's going to be looking in his mirrors to Simpson and Manners. As we could see Simpson moving in and out of draft there, trying to get Ian Manners out of his own draft. But there's quite a gap between them already. And with just over 5 minutes to go, there could well be a battle on here for second place as Simpson's in the clear now. He might be able to break away. Oh, break away indeed. His back end broke away. He nearly lost it into the pit wall there. But he managed to save it very, very well indeed. And it does mean he lacked a bit of momentum on the front straight here. Oh, as we could see, McCluskey very close to the rear of Manners. Heading out of turn 1 there, and he's got to ease his way past. In this infield, he's losing time here behind Simpson. Having said that, there's big gaps between these LMDH cars, so it wouldn't have cost McCluskey much more than he was already behind. But in fact, that might have disrupted Manners a little bit. It did put him back a little bit from Simpson. As Shoot now passes. Manners. You can see there Simpson moved to the inside to let shoot through, because purely for Simpson it was easier for him to let shoot through on the racing, or let shoot stay on the racing line, and so Simpson could get himself back on the racing line, because that actually would have made the entire passing process easier for Shoots, because he could have stayed on the racing line, he could have broke at his optimal points, whereas in the GT3 cars you could be a little bit more flexible, I suppose, adaptive with the braking points in these GT3 cars compared to the LMDH cars. So that was clever thinking from Simpson there. That clever thinking might get you a long way in this season. We'll see. Our leader still with 4 minutes to go, less than 4 minutes to go, is Guthrie in the LMDH car. We just saw him lap the GT3 class for the second time in this session. It's been a breeze, this race has, for Guthrie. He got himself a good start, got himself into the lead, and kept it and extended it. I can see it's James May on the shark fin of the of Guthrie's livery there, and there is some text on there. I do want to see if I can check it out. Let's go to some very unconventional camera angles, see if we can see. We can't quite pick it up. Right, okay, I can. So it says... Oh, I can't read it. I'll find out off Guthrie what his car says after tonight, and I'll let you all know next week if he does in fact use that livery next week. But yeah, it is James May smoking a pipe, and presumably it's a quote. I love a good meme on a race car. Simpson's moved into the lead here while I was gobbing off about James May just then, and the driver's entering and leaving the pits. You can see here, Altria is in the lead at the end of the last lap here. And he's going to go straight into the pits there. I'm not really sure why. They run out of fuel. So I think Pitt went into the pits as well. Yeah, he does. Not sure how long ago this was. This is when Jake Pitt spun, actually. So, do excuse me. Ian Manners also went into the pits, but Simpson hasn't. Let's see if Simpson goes in the pits now. He is going to the pit. Right. Okay. So there we go. So the GT3 cars clearly haven't had enough fuel to get to the end. That's what it is. Little did I know that. Entirely sure what's happened. I'll have to find out after. But Altria retakes the lead here. Simpson's heading back on track. And there's Jake Pitt. Now this is going to be close. But it is Pitt who gets through and past. We've got Ian Manners here. Oh, he's not going to quite have enough to get past Simpson. So they end up back where they were. And that was presumably a splash and dash from everyone. With only 1 minute left, that's quite a shame, really. Guthrie's in the pits as well. So there we go. It would be that everybody didn't have quite enough fuel to get to the end. I wonder if that was intentional or not. I'm not entirely sure. But intentional from the setup providers, I suppose. Not sure if that was intentional to do it this late on in the race. But it means that Guthrie has started his final lap, and it's not a Michael Schumacher at Silverstone in 1997 kind of moment. But Guthrie heads back out on track after literally a splash and dash, and will finish his race very soon. Been a good race from Guthrie. This really sets him up well for the season. I'm not entirely sure who's the favourite for the season. I haven't quite had a look back yet of last season's data. I haven't got access to it yet, but yeah, as soon as we see that, I'll have a good idea of who the favourites are amongst all this field. And also we'll see the categories for before next week as well. So that's a key thing as well. Everyone will know who they're up against, essentially. And that's the white flag waving for Altria as well. Crossed the line to start his final lap. Commanding win for Altria. Managed to break away from Pitt when Pitt spun. That really set it up, really. 13 seconds away. Ben Altria has ended up going. Of course, with Alan McCain dropping out of the race after his excursion off the track. That set Altria up for the pre-season win here. Sets you up with good confidence is these pre-season wins. And that's what it'll do for Guthrie and Altria here. Down the main straight for the final time will go Guthrie. We will wrap up the stream as well after this race is completed as well. But Guthrie round the final corner. He'll take the win in this pre-season race in the LMDH. Still celebrates. He's still happy with his performance. We did have a pass for P3 as Guthrie's crossing the line, but Deladen crosses the line. Hang on a minute. Have these guys run out of fuel? They have. There we go. So I just saw a pass between P3 and P4, and I think it's because these guys have run out of fuel. They decided to save fuel and try and get it to the end without pitting. Well, it nearly worked, guys. Hoffman passes Shoot for 4th place, and is he going to pass McCluskey? Oh, it was so close, but I think he did. Hoffman takes 3rd place on the line. Brilliant, brilliant. Oh, the luck from McCluskey then. It's only pre-season, but McCluskey will laugh about that, saying, I gave it a go. He tried to fuel save, and so did Shoot, who isn't going to make it to the line, and that'll DNF him. But the winner of the GT3 class, and does have enough fuel, is Ben Altria. We go across the line. Jake Pitt will also cross the line to finish. Jake Pitt crossed the line, 2nd place. Edwin Simpson in 3rd position. And Ian Manners will round off the field. Potentially Andy Chell will take it as well. Actually, it's not a bad thing that we actually have the voice chat on there. We can kind of hear what the guys are talking about. But we certainly won't have that on for the season race. But there we go. That's been pre-season. And we need to fix our standings. There we go. Overall, that's what we wanted. So, let's see if we can change it to each category. Never mind. Never mind. We'll just do an overall. So, William Guthrie in the 1st position, 5 seconds clear of Max Deladen. Dwayne Hoffman in 3rd position with Benjamin McCluskey in 4th position. Just about making it to the line, but he was beaten on the line by Dwayne Hoffman. Sean Shoot couldn't quite make it to the line, but still categorised on the lead lap by the looks of it. Ben Altria takes the win in the GT3s in 6th overall, with Jake Pitt in 2nd place and Edwin Simpson rounding off the top 3 of the GT3s. Ian Manners in 4th position and 9th overall, and Andy Chow last of the finishers in 5th place in category, 10th place overall. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. And a reminder, this is our calendar. And we'll get it bigger on the screen, actually. There we go. So we start next week, 23rd of May. We'll be live at approximately 7:45 PM UK time. And it'll be round 1 of the championship at the Mugello circuit in Italy. Join us live on the channel that day. It's the LMDH and GT3 multi-class league. Realistic weather, so who knows what weather we're going to see next week. It could be raining, could be bone dry. Not entirely sure. Let's see what Mugello is like in the week build up. But next week is going to be a sprint race and feature race layout. So we're going to have qualifying, and then that'll follow with a sprint race of 20 minutes in length, and then it will be the feature race of 60 minutes. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Alex Everett, your commentator tonight. Thank you very much for watching this pre-season race. We'll see you next time at Mugello for round 1 of the championship. Season 5 is go.